रिकॉर्डिंग हो गई बेटा, स्टार्ट। So can you see this slide? Are you can you see this slide? Cholinergic drugs and the system, right? So class, can you understand this picture? Can you understand this picture? This is the picture. You have to understand this picture, then you will be able to know the location of the cholinergic receptors. So this is the for example, uh, this is the spinal cord from which the different innervations of the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nerves are coming out from the spinal cord and the brain. And this is the preganglionic, these are the preganglionic neurons. And you know that the preganglionic neurons, they form the synapse first in the ganglia, the autonomic ganglia. And you know that the sympathetic nervous system has the autonomic ganglia, which is near to the spinal cord, and the parasympathetic nervous system also has an autonomic ganglia, which is near to the effector organs. So the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system both have the autonomic ganglia. So these are the autonomic ganglia. And after forming the synapse at the autonomic ganglia, the postganglionic neurons then come out, and these are the postganglionic neurons which then innervate the target organs. Right, class? So this is the brief overview about the ganglia and the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. And there are some nerves which are directly innervating the adrenal medulla, and then the adrenal medulla produce a secretion in the blood, and from the blood they will go and produce the action on the target organ. And we also have the somatic nervous system in our body, which is controlling our skeletal muscles. And that somatic nervous system do not have any ganglia. So the neurons from the spinal cord directly innervate the skeletal muscles, and these are the skeletal muscles, and this is the neuron. So somatic nervous system do not have any preganglionic and the postganglionic neuron because it does not have any ganglia, right? So now we will try to understand that what are the different where are the cholinergic receptors are located. So remember that we have two types of cholinergic receptors. We have two types of cholinergic receptor. So ACH receptor means ACH means cholinergic receptor. So the acetylcholine binds to the cholinergic receptors, right? And we have two types of cholinergic receptor. One type of cholinergic receptor is known as the nicotinic receptor, right? One type of cholinergic receptor is known as the nicotinic receptor, and the other type of the cholinergic receptor is known as the muscarinic receptor. Why we are calling it the nicotinic receptor and the muscarinic receptor? Because the nicotinic receptor, at the nicotinic receptor, the acetylcholine can bind, and also the nicotine can also bind to that receptor. the receptor at which the acetylcholine binds and also the nicotine binds and produce action. All these receptors, we call them as the nicotinic receptors. And why we call some receptors of cholinergic as a muscarinic receptor, because at these receptors acetylcholine binds and produce action, but on these receptors beside acetylcholine, muscarine, which is an alkaloid, can also bind and can produce action. बताइए आपको नजर नहीं आ रहा है acetylcholine? Right. So are you understanding my point that acetylcholine binds with the receptor, and the receptor to which acetylcholine binds, that receptor is known as the cholinergic receptor. We have two types of the cholinergic receptor. One is known as the nicotinic receptor, at which the acetylcholine can bind. But why we call them nicotinic? Because at these receptor nicotine can also bind. Similarly, we have another type of the acetylcholine, where we have another type of the cholinergic receptor to which acetylcholine can bind. But why we call that receptor as a muscarinic receptor? Because beside the acetylcholine, muscarine can also bind with that receptor and can produce action. So at the nicotinic receptor, the muscarine cannot bind and can produce action, and at the muscarinic receptor, the nicotine cannot bind and can produce action. So therefore, we have divided the cholinergic receptors into two types. One is the nicotinic receptor, and the other one is known as the muscarinic receptor. Yes, muscarine is an alkaloid, right? So we have two receptors. We have two cholinergic receptors. One is known as the nicotinic receptors, to which the acetylcholine and nicotine can bind. Another one is known as a muscarinic receptor, to which the acetylcholine and muscarine, which is an alkaloid, can also bind, right? So these are the two different classes of the cholinergic receptor. At both these receptors, the acetylcholine can bind. Now we will try to understand at which places the nicotinic receptors are there and at which places the muscarinic receptors are there. Now, if you really understand this diagram, so where are the nicotinic receptors are located? Remember class, the nicotinic receptors are located at the autonomic ganglia. The autonomic ganglia, at the autonomic ganglia, the nicotinic receptors are there. In the previous class, we have already discussed that where are the cholinergic neurons and where are the cholinergic neurons. So the autonomic ganglia of both the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system, these autonomic ganglia have the nicotinic receptors. And the nerves which are directly innervating the adrenal medulla, and at the adrenal medulla we also have the nicotinic receptors. So at the ganglia we have the nicotinic receptor, and that nicotinic receptor which is present at the autonomic ganglia, that nicotinic receptor is known as the NN. N means nicotinic and N means neurons. So the nicotinic receptor which is present at the neurons, that one is known as the NN. Beside the nicotinic receptor which is present at the autonomic ganglia, the nicotinic receptor is also present at the neuromuscular junctions, at the target organ, at the somatic nervous system. The somatic nervous system, which are directly innervating the skeletal muscles, that skeletal muscles also contains the nicotinic receptor. And the nicotinic receptors which are present at the neuromuscular junctions, that nicotinic receptor is known as the NM. M means muscles. So the nicotinic receptors which are present at the neurons, at the ganglia, both the sympathetic and the parasympathetic, and also the nerves which are directly innervating the adrenal medulla, they all contain the nicotinic receptor of NM type, and the nerves which are directly innervating the skeletal muscle, and that skeletal muscles also contain the nicotinic receptors, and that nicotinic receptors are known as the NM. M means for muscles. So we have two types of the nicotinic receptor. One is known as the NN, the nicotinic receptor which are present at the neurons, and other one is the NM, which is the nicotinic receptor which are present at the level of the skeletal muscles. So then we have two different types of nicotinic receptor. So we have two different types of the cholinergic receptor. One is known as the nicotinic receptor, and the other one is known as the muscarinic receptor. Further, nicotinic receptors are further divided into two types. One type of nicotinic receptor is present at the level of the neurons, which is known as the NN, and the other type of the nicotinic receptor is present at the level of the skeletal muscles, which is known as the NM. Right, class, is that clear? Right, so you can see that in this picture. So this is the nicotinic receptor to which the acetylcholine can bind, and also beside the acetylcholine, nicotine can also bind to that receptor. So therefore, we are calling it as the nicotinic receptors. So the nicotinic receptor are of two types. One is known as the NM. Also, we can say NM as the N1, which is present at the level of the neuromuscular junctions at the skeletal muscles organ, at the skeletal muscle cells. The other one is known as the NN, also known as the N2, which is present at the level of the autonomic ganglia, right, and adrenal medulla. So we will talk later about the muscarinic receptor types and where they are located. So these are the receptor, nicotinic receptor, to which the acetylcholine and the nicotine can bind and produce the action. So I have already told you that the cholinergic drugs are those drugs which interfere with the release of the acetylcholine in our body. We call that drug as a cholinergic drug that interfere the release or the synthesis of acetylcholine which is produced in our body. We call these drugs as a cholinergic drugs. So cholinergic drugs are also known as the muscarinic drugs. Why? Because you know that we have two types of the cholinergic receptor. One is known as a nicotinic and another one is known as a muscarinic. So therefore, sometimes we call as a cholinergic drug as a muscarinic drug also, because acetylcholine can also bind to the muscarine. So therefore, we also said there are muscarinic drugs. So cholinergic drugs, we take the cholinergic drugs, and you know that these cholinergic drugs will bind to the acetylcholine receptors. And you know that the acetylcholine receptors are of two types. Nicotinic receptors are also of two types, which one is known as the NN and other one is known as the NM, because NN is located at the neurons and NM is located at the skeletal muscles. And we have also muscarinic receptors, and muscarinic receptors are also 5 types. So whatever drug, cholinergic drug we will take, that drug will either bind to the nicotinic receptor and either can bind to the muscarinic receptor depending upon the affinity of that drug to that particular receptor or the type. And if that cholinergic drug is increasing the action of the acetylcholine in our body, that drug is known as the cholinergic agonist drug. Or in other words, we can also say that that drug is known as the muscarinic agonist drug, right? And if we take the cholinergic drug and that drug is decreasing the release or decreasing the effect of acetylcholine in our body, that drug is known as the cholinergic antagonist drug. Or we can also say that drug as a muscarinic antagonist drug. So that thing should be clear in your mind, that whatever drug, cholinergic drug you will take, that cholinergic drug will either, if it is direct acting, it will bind to the receptors and produce action. And if it is indirecting, it will interfere into the release. It will interfere in the release of the acetylcholine, right? So this is so there is a much significance of the acetylcholine receptors. You have to understand the location of these acetylcholine receptors and how this acetylcholine receptor works. Then you will able to understand the action of the drug, how that drug is producing its action. So far we have discussed about the nicotinic receptor and its types. Now I would like to discuss. First, you would like to discuss the mechanism of the nicotinic receptor, or first it's better that we will discuss about the muscarinic receptor. Then we will in combination discuss the mechanism of the nicotinic and muscarinic. You tell me. It is better to discuss first the nicotinic receptor mechanism, or better to first know the location of the muscarinic receptor? Class? Okay, many students are saying first location. Okay, we will first discuss about the location. Right. If you really understand about the location of the nicotinic receptor, where are the nicotinic receptor located? At the level of the neurons, right, and at the level of the skeletal muscles, right? These are the location of the nicotinic receptor. And why you are saying it nicotinic? Because at these receptors, the acetylcholine and the nicotine can bind. So remember, at the muscarinic receptor, the nicotine cannot bind, right? So therefore we have given different names to these receptor. This is the reason. So after discussing the location of the nicotinic receptor, now we will try to understand where are the muscarinic receptors are located, right? So I will try to simplify it. Where are the muscarinic receptors located? So first remember that the muscarinic receptors are located at the effector organs, and all the effector organs which are innervating by the parasympathetic nervous system, right? The parasympathetic nervous system, the nerves of the parasympathetic nervous system, that nerves of the parasympathetic nervous system which are innervating the target organ, all these target organs are containing the muscarinic receptors, right class? So all the target organs are containing the muscarinic receptor, but remember that the skeletal muscles, which are also a target organ, these skeletal muscles do not contain the muscarinic receptor. These skeletal muscles are containing the nicotinic receptor of NM type. But beside the skeletal muscles, all the target organs which are innervated by the parasympathetic nervous system, they are containing the muscarinic receptors, right? And you already know that we have discussed in the adrenergic drugs that the adrenergic drugs, that the adrenergic receptors are there in the target organs which are innervating by the sympathetic nervous system, right? So keep in mind the difference between that the skeletal muscles which are innervating by the somatic nervous system, that target organs are containing the nicotinic receptors, but the target organs which are innervating by the parasympathetic nervous system, these target organs all are containing the muscarinic receptors, right class? So we have different types of the muscarinic receptors, and the books have told that we have 5 different types of the muscarinic receptor from M1 to M5, right? So I will try to make it much simpler as much as I could. So right. So this is the muscarinic receptor. Why we are calling it a muscarinic receptor? Because this is a cholinergic receptor at which the acetylcholine binds and produce action. But why you are calling it muscarinic? Because beside the acetylcholine, muscarine can also bind and stimulate the action. But at the muscarinic receptor, the nicotine cannot bind. So therefore, you are calling it as a muscarinic receptor. So you should know why you're calling it cholinergic receptor. One is a muscarinic and another one is a nicotinic. So therefore, I am repeating again and again. So you should keep in mind these things. So the muscarinic receptors are of 5 types, M1, M2. These are the types of the muscarinic receptor, and these types are present at the different location. So remember class, these all receptors from M1 to M5, they are all present in the CNS. They are all present at the central nervous system. One thing is for sure, that these five types of muscarinic receptors, they are all present in the central nervous system. But only the M2 and the M3, only the M2 and the M3, they are also present in the central nervous system. But beside the central nervous system, they are also present at the level of the heart, and M3 is also present at the level of the smooth muscles, right? The muscarinic receptor, all the muscarinic receptors, all the different types of all these muscarinic receptors are present at the target organs. But a small quantity of these different types of muscarinic receptor are also present at the level of the central nervous system. And only M2 and M3, these are the two types of the muscarinic receptor which are also present at a small amount at the CNS. But beside the CNS, there are also present, M2 is also present at the level of the heart, and M3 is also present at the level of the smooth muscles, right? So remember, the M2 and the M3, these are the M2 type of the muscarinic receptor and the M3 type of the muscarinic receptor. These are the two types of the muscarinic receptor which is of prime importance, because they are present at the target organs. These are the muscarinic type receptors which is of utmost importance, because most important actions of the cholinergic drugs are mediated by the M2 and M3 types, right? So the muscarinic receptor, to sum it up, the muscarinic receptor are present at the target organs, right? The muscarinic receptors are also present at the level of the CNS, but they are not present at significant amount at the level of the CNS. And the muscarinic receptor which are of most important are of the M2 type and the M3 type. M2 type is present at the level of the heart, and M3 type is present at the level of the smooth muscle. The smooth muscles in our body, all the smooth muscles in our body, they contain the M3 receptors depending upon their severity. Right, class? Are you getting my point? So the nicotinic receptors are present at the level of the ganglia, which is known as the NN, and the skeletal muscle, which is known as the NM. Then we have the muscarinic receptor, which are of 5 types. All these 5 types are present in the CNS at a small quantity, and only the M2 and the M3, they are present at the greater amount at the level of the target organs, and the M2 is present at the level of the heart, and M3 is present at the level of the smooth muscles. Right. Then after discussing the types and the location of the muscarinic receptors, I will try to tell you some more points about the muscarinic receptor. One more point about the muscarinic receptor is, remember that the M1, M3 and the M5, the numbers which are odd numbers, 1, 3 and 5, these are the odd numbers. So the muscarinic receptor, which are the odd number M1, M3 and M5, these muscarinic receptors, when you stimulate these receptor M1, M3 or M5, you will increase the activity of the cell, right? The acetylcholine, if it binds to the M1, the M3 or the M5, the cell activity will be increases. Opposite to that, the M2, the even number, the muscarinic receptor, the M2 and the M4, these are the muscarinic receptor to which when the acetylcholine is bind, then the cell activity will be decreased. Are you getting my point? So the M1, the M3 and the M5, these are the receptor which increases the activity of the cell when the acetylcholine binds to these type of receptor, these type of muscarinic receptor. But if the acetylcholine or the muscarine, if it's bind to the M2 or the M4, and if it stimulates that receptor, then it will decrease the activity of that cell. So the M1, M3 and M5 increases the activity of cell, and the M2 and the M4 can decrease the activity of cell. So these are the M1, M3 and M5 are the excitatory receptors, and the M2 and the M4 are the inhibitory receptor. Is that clear, class? So you have, is it clear, class? Are you getting my point? These are the things which you have to understand before we really discuss about the drugs, because I am laying you the foundation. You will not be able to understand the drugs if will not I will not discuss these things. Right. Now I will try to discuss the nicotinic receptor mechanism, how the nicotinic receptors work. Now if you remember that we have discussed about the adrenergic receptors mechanism, you know that the adrenergic receptors are the 7-pass receptor, transmembrane receptors coupled with the G protein. And at the end of the day, when you stimulate the adrenergic receptors, you are increasing the kinases activity, and the cell activity will be altered, right? But if we discuss about the nicotinic receptors, you know that the nicotinic receptors are not the 7-pass receptor or the transmembrane receptor. The nicotinic receptors we call the nicotinic receptor as a ligand gated ion channel. These are the ion channels. Why we are calling it as an ion channel? Because this is the ligand gated ion channel. This is the ion channel, right? You can see this is the lipid bilayer, and for your understanding, we have increased the size of the ion channel to which the acetylcholine bind. So this is the ion channel, and first we will try to understand what is it. We call them as a ion channel. Why we are calling it as an ion channel? Because for example, this is an acetylcholine, and you know that the acetylcholine and the nicotine binds to the nicotinic receptor, and this is the nicotinic receptor, and this is the type of the nicotinic receptor. Trust me, this is the receptor, which is this is the ligand gated ion channel. This is the receptor. So the acetylcholine comes, and this is the site of the receptor to which the acetylcholine bind. So the acetylcholine is also known as a ligand because it binds to the receptor. So this is the acetylcholine is a ligand. So the acetylcholine binds to the receptor, the nicotinic receptor, and so therefore it is a ligand. When the acetylcholine binds to that nicotinic receptor, this is the channel which will open. When the acetylcholine binds to the nicotinic receptor, this is the channel. Before the acetylcholine binds to the nicotinic receptor, the channel is closed. But when the acetylcholine binds to the nicotinic receptor, and when it binds and stimulates the receptor, then the channel is open. And when the channel is open, you know that the sodium, which is higher in amounts in the extracellular space, that sodium will come inside the cell. So the acetylcholine is a ligand. Acetylcholine comes, binds with the receptor, the nicotinic receptor, and when the acetylcholine binds with the nicotinic receptor, it will stimulate the receptor. The channel will be open, and the sodium from outside comes inside the cell. So when the sodium from outside comes inside the cell, then you know that the sodium, when it comes inside the cell, increase amount of sodium when it comes inside the cell, you are stimulating the cell. So the cell activity will be increased. So this is how the acetylcholine is working. The acetylcholine आपका निकोटिनिक रिसेप्टर के साथ बाइंड करता है. ये आपका एक निकोटिनिक रिसेप्टर है. इसको आप लाइगेंड गेटेड आयन चैनल कहते हैं. लाइगेंड इसलिए क्यों कहते हैं? क्योंकि ये लाइगेंड है एसिटाइलकोलिन एक, कोई मॉलिक्यूल जब एसिटाइल रिसेप्टर के साथ बाइंड करे, आप उसको लाइगेंड कहते हैं। तो एसिटाइल कोलिन इस रिसेप्टर के साथ आके बाइंड करेगा, और इस रिसेप्टर के साथ जब आके बाइंड करता है तो ये जो रिसेप्टर है ये बंद होता है। एसिटाइल कोलिन के बाइंड होने से पहले ये रिसेप्टर बंद होगा। जैसे ही एसिटाइल कोलिन रिसेप्टर के साथ बाइंड करता है, आपका ये चैनल ओपन हो जाता है। तो सोडियम जो है, जो बाहर आपका सेल से ज़्यादा होता है, वो आपका सेल के अंदर आना शुरू हो जाता है। और जब आपका सोडियम सेल के अंदर ज़्यादा आता है तो आपका सेल का जो चार्ज है वो पॉजिटिव हो जाता है। सेल जो है वो आपका एक्साइटेड हो जाता है, सेल की जो एक्टिविटी है वो इंक्रीज हो जाती है। तो इसी तरीके से एसिटाइल कोलिन सेल की एक्टिविटी को इंक्रीज करता है कि जब एसिटाइल कोलिन आएगा, निकोटिनिक रिसेप्टर के साथ बाइंड होगा, जो चैनल्स थे, आयन चैनल्स थे, वो ओपन हो जाते हैं और सोडियम जो है वो सेल के अंदर आता है, जिसकी वजह से सेल की एक्टिविटी है जो इंक्रीज हो जाती है। ये आपका मैकेनिज्म ऑफ एक्शन है कि किस तरीके से एसिटाइल कोलिन अपना एक्शन शो करता है कि जब वो अपने निकोटिनिक रिसेप्टर के साथ बाइंड करें। तो रिमेंबर दैट द निकोटिनिक रिसेप्टर is the ion channel. Nicotinic receptor, acetylcholine binds with the nicotinic receptor. It opens the channel. Sodium comes from outside to the inside. When sodium comes from outside to the inside, it will increase the positive charge of the cell. The cell will be more easily excitable, and it will increase the activity of the cell. So this is how you are increasing the activity. This is how the acetylcholine is increasing the activity of cell when it binds to the nicotinic receptor, right? So some more points about the nicotinic receptor. Remember that the nicotinic receptor contains the 5 subunits. This is the one: alpha, gamma, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are the five. These are the 5 subunits. These are the 5 subunits which are making the nicotinic receptor. So the nicotinic receptor is made up of 5 subunits, and simple is that when the acetylcholine bind to the nicotinic receptor, and when it bind to the nicotinic receptor, it stimulates the receptor. Then the ion channel will be open. Sodium from outside comes to the inside, and when the sodium comes inside, it will increase the activity of the cell. So this is the simple mechanism how the nicotinic receptor works. Is it clear, class? Nicotinic receptor, right? Listen, receptor, you know that the receptor are made up of proteins, right? So the protein do have the units. So the nicotinic receptor is made up of 5 different subunits, 5 units. Right. I will brief it up because we only have 2 minutes left. So I will brief it up what we have discussed so far. I have discussed about the cholinergic receptor today, and we have discussed that the cholinergic receptors are of 2 types. One is known as the nicotinic receptor, and the other one is known as the muscarinic receptor. And further, the nicotinic receptors are being divided into the nicotinic receptor, which are further the nicotinic receptors are divided into 2 types. One is known as the NN, and the other one is known as the NM. The nicotinic receptors, which are present at the level of the neurons, these receptors are known as the NN, and the nicotinic receptors which are present at the neuromuscular junction at the level of skeletal muscle, these are known as the NM. Then we have discussed about the muscarinic receptor, that the muscarinic receptors are present at the target organs which are being innervating by the parasympathetic nervous system. And we have 5 different types of the muscarinic receptor from M1 to M5. And the M1, the M3, and the M5 are the excitatory muscarinic receptor, and the M2 and the M4 are the inhibitory muscarinic receptor. Then we have discussed about the nicotinic receptor mechanism of action, how the nicotinic receptor works. So we have discussed that the acetylcholine is a ligand. So the acetylcholine comes and bind with the nicotinic receptor, And when it binds to the nicotinic receptor, you know that the acetyl nicotinic receptors are ion channels. They are not 7-pass receptors. So when the acetylcholine binds with the nicotinic receptor, the channel will be open, and the sodium from outside comes inside the cell. And when more sodium comes inside the cell, it will increase the positive charge of the cell. And know that when you are increasing the positive charge of the cell will be easier to stimulate, and the cell activity will be increased. So this is what we have discussed. Remember that the nicotinic receptors are not the 7-pass receptor; they are the ion channels. Then in the next class, which hopefully I will take tomorrow, in the next class we will discuss